Hi there, I'm Holly McDonald with the OC Pod, where we talk about all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make our area and Costa Mesa such a great place to live. Today, I am with Jesse. Jesse is of Location 1980. Jesse, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Holly. I appreciate it.
Yeah, can you share with us, for people who may not be aware, what is Location 1980?
Well, it's probably the most unique art space in Orange County, and one of the reasons for that is because it developed very organically. I didn't just show up one day and be like, we should have the coolest art space ever. Like, it simply couldn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So the way that it unfolded, it makes it very local, very rootsy, very down to earth. So, but what it is, it's a collection of 16 artists right now. We're in an old warehouse, 75-year-old building, probably the oldest building in this neighborhood, or at least on the street. We've refurbished it to the point where every space in the entire building is dedicated to a different artist. Mm-hmm. And we also can showcase outside artists as well. Yeah. We have art classes and workshops on the weekly and daily. We love sharing our space with the community. So it's a community creative space.
I love that. Obviously, Costa Mesa calls itself the City of the Arts. So that's a nice...
We try to help put the arts in the City of Arts.
Yeah.
On the daily. We feel obligated to.
Well, I mean, so I take it you have an artistic background.
I do. I graduated. It was funny though, when I was younger, I just turned 50, and I just also crossed the 25 years in California mark versus the 25 years I spent in Missouri, where I'm from, St. Louis, Missouri. But when I grew up there, I was a jock. I played all sports, and I did pretty much no more art than any other kid in school or grade school. And so when I got to college, I realized I wasn't going to be a professional, any kind of athlete, and I had to make a shift. I had to pivot, and I pivoted into art. And it took a couple stumble years to kind of like see if it would fly. And then I kind of sunk my teeth into it, and the rest was history. 25 years later, I'm here. And I graduated 2000 from the Kansas City Art Institute.
Okay.
And when I came to California, I came with a one-way plane ticket, and I was just determined to make my aesthetic, announce myself to the world, pretty much.
Okay, so I came to California with a one-way plane ticket in 2003.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna be at work. I'm curious, so you were all involved in school and athletics, then you switched over to artistic, and you did your courses in that. You came to California. Where did you end up? Was it Costa Mesa? Was it LA? Where was it?
First it was Long Beach, my brother's couch. Shout out to my brother Jay. He was like, dude, as soon as you graduate, I got you. And so I came out, and I didn't know what to do. And honestly, there was a bit of a hiccup because I had just went to school for 7 years, and I finally got the degree, and I was all senioritis out.
Yeah.
And so when I got to California, I was like, I just want to go on the beach and just figure it out. Like, I had other skill sets, and I used to sell vitamins for a big vitamin selling company. And
all into athletics.
Yeah, and it helped when I was in school. I did it there, and then my brother said, I told him, I'll go down and just get a side job before I start applying to all these art jobs. Yeah. Because I just wanted to make some dough and figure out California. In Long Beach, I'd never been there before, so yeah. I really dug it. But I said, hey, they said I can get an assistant manager position at this place called Fashion Island in Newport. I'm like, is that cool? And he's like, dude, if you're gonna work at a mall, work there. Yeah, definitely. And so I got the position, and for a couple months, he worked in Irvine, and we would commute. And it's when I figured out how awkward it was to get around California, or at least Southern California. Like, I was like, wait, so we spend 2.5 hours every day to go maybe 25 miles? I couldn't wrap my head around it. He goes, well, hey, if you're gonna keep that job, he's like, maybe you wanna move down to CDM. So that's what I did. And when I did, I just fell in love with like Corona Del Mar, and I got to know like Newport, and then I became a personal trainer, which I never thought I would do. But it was a good way to kind of bridge the gap between living and lifestyle, and then being able to now afford to do my art at my pace and just make work. Now I have an art job. Mm-hmm. So I pretty much landed, eventually, like I spent maybe a few months in Corona Del Mar, and then I got my first apartment in Costa Mesa, and I've pretty much been here ever since.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you definitely lived the California lifestyle.
Yeah, I lived in Newport too for a few years at the beach, so I got that all out of my system, and if it wasn't for finding this place, I honestly might have already moved out of California. Or maybe moved to San Diego. But when I got this place, or at least I had my first lease here, it was kind of eye-opening. I had seen places like this when I was in art school and in LA, and I was like, yeah, maybe we could do something with that. You know, maybe we can change the space. It was kind of fun. It was not an apartment. It was just like a real, like make whatever you want. Pick your own adventure.
Yeah, well, and so in this part of Costa Mesa, we're on Placentia. So we're in the middle of basically a bunch of like auto mechanic, car repair type of shops. And then there's this bright green building.
Yeah.
Looks very artistic. But yeah, I think I've been so curious. I drive by all the time. What's in there?
Well, that's one of the reasons, since we've been here, we used to be kind of underground, weren't just fully established when we came here. And there was another business, it was actually called the World Gallery and Antiques. Okay. And we were affiliated with them, but it wasn't our idea. It had already been here. But the antique part was a bit much for us. And they ended up moving on. And so what we wanted to do was change the whole vibe. So we just cleaned things up a bit. And then one of the first things we heard was like, well, I can't find a place. I can't. So we painted it with the Venom Green. And then recently, a couple of summers ago, I put those 8-foot 1888 giant letters. You can't miss them. It says Art Gallery and Studios.
Yeah.
And so that kind of cleared it up for a lot of people. But it's not the first time we've heard locals say, you know, I've always been curious what that is. And I guess we've been doing a good job with the murals and just the garden out front to make it more approachable. Because a lot of times we will find people just wander in, or if we do our next art walk is next Friday. Well, we do it all summer long, once a month. And we do a big community event in December. It's probably our biggest show, a holiday art sale, 12-hour sale. But people, more and more locals have now start taking a chance to come in and inspect it, and then they're delightfully surprised at not only how much, but the quality of the work and how much it changes from time to time when you come in. Yeah,
so people, do they need to make an appointment to come here? How does it work?
Well, a lot of times, because I'm self-employed technically, even when my business partner left, you know, we have some of the artists can help, but I don't have like a staff. So I'm a master of a lot of trades at this building. So what I do, if you're serious about art, we have enough public opens things, but if you want to just message us, there's at least one artist here that throughout the day that could give you a tour or let you check out the work. But I couldn't afford, I worked in the galleries in Laguna. I worked in one gallery for a whole summer, basically free, like an internship.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to see the business. And one thing I knew once we started this as an official art business was I could not afford to pay someone to sit there for 8 hours and the chance that artwork might sell.
Right.
So I went completely the other way. And I was like, we're going to be focused on the production of art. And that will eventually, we found out, will lead to the culture building, which then leads to art sales. So that's how I approached it.
I like that. So you have 16 artists that have spaces here. Is that right?
We have 16 art studios, all different sizes, all different shapes, and all the artists are different. And we've had artists from Korea, Germany, Thailand, Africa, England, all over the world that have come here and resided, not like live, work, but had a studio here.
Yeah.
And participated in helping us build the culture and taught us about their scene, where they're from, and comfortable enough to make their work here. And we're delighted that we could help them integrate into the local art scene or show off their work while they're here. So I've always thought that, I think professionals here, I had a good answer for this. I would say that what 1980 is multicultural, multi-generational, like creativity juggernaut in a local market.
Yeah.
So I've always said, if I can't do it as an artist, I guarantee you I know artists who can. And our art family, because we have had so many artists here, over 100 that have come and went. Our network is global, so it's not just the 16 artists that are here. Even on a weekly basis, we have more like 50 artists that come on the property.
Oh, wow.
And so now there's like just so many of us all over the world, so it's pretty cool. It's a big art family, and I'm pretty proud of it, actually.
It's kind of like networking, but I love the way you call it a family. That's really nice.
Yeah, well, a lot of things we've done here is blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of times the artists aren't fully supported by the community. Sometimes if you really want to be a working full-time artist, on our pod we call it the art of the side hustle. You had better be willing to do something else, at least a little bit to help you get through those times where you need to make it happen. And a lot of times the artists, we call artists for artists, the artists are your biggest supporters. So here I will support another artist doing all these projects. Sometimes we got to rely on each other. And when you do get the ups and downs and the blood, sweat, and tear type factor, that's more like a family than a business, because you truly can trust that you can count on someone else. And artists, I've learned that they'll come through. And a lot of times when you mix with other industries, they always want the artists to do stuff for free. Oh, we'd love to have you on this and come do that. Can you guys do it for free? Is everybody else getting paid?
Yeah.
It happens a lot in the industry. So I kind of champion the artists, like working hard and getting paid thoroughly, as well deserved as they should.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Well, I mean, like you said, it's the blood, sweat, and tears and talent.
Yeah, it's not an accident. You gotta kind of grind at it. I had a professor back in the day, and he used to always tell kids, "Hear this." Now that I'm 50, I feel like I'm not an old man, but I definitely have more experience than some of the 20-year-olds. And they used to always say the last 4 letters in the word artwork are work.
Well, that is eye-opening. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So I like how on the exterior you have like this really cool outdoor space too. And it sounds like you use that for some of the events and also areas that the artists can draw inspiration from.
It's lucky for us that we're in SoCal, or it really wouldn't work. I've heard a lot of other artists that have traveled and be like, oh, this is great that you guys can utilize a space like this, because it simply wouldn't work even in San Francisco or New York or anywhere the weather was a little more detrimental to art making.
Yeah.
So because of that, we've really tried to take, not just use it or utilize it, but take real advantage of it and flex. So like everything you saw out there is like changeable. The awnings, the tents, all the couches are on wheels. Every space can be like remolded in a matter of minutes. So then depending on what people want to do, because we do some private functions here, but like we've had skateboard ramps and pole dancers and fire hoopers and whatever they might want at their event, we can pull it off because of the outdoor space.
It's really, really cool. Kind of reminds me, with everything being on wheels, of like a set for a play.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. We kind of came to that conclusion really early on after moving things over and over again. We're like, dude, no. And shout out to my old business partner, Brett Douglas. He was like the main builder when we first got here because he had a construction background, and we figured it out really quick. Slapped some wheels on it, and it makes everything effortless at some point. So we used to try to say, like, if one person, regardless of their stature, can change the space in a couple minutes, then that's good design.
Yeah.
And I like to have stuff like you don't just move it, it has a place to go, or several places where it can live.
Well, and I imagine just because this is an artistic space, probably there's lots of change and transformation, right?
It's one of the best compliments we get from people who have been. So a lot of times if you haven't been, the first thing you would say is, I always wonder what it was. But now when you come back, the next thing people say is like, every time I come, it always changes. And what I try to say to the artist is like, that change is the only reason we're still open. Ooh. If we weren't able to be nimble and pivot at every little hiccup, we would have been closed 10 years ago.
When did you guys open again? I know you started small.
Yeah, it's been several progressions, but I think 2000, I first came here and had an art studio in 2009. Okay. But I don't think our actual location, 1980 LLC, was like till 2011.
Okay, but you're almost 15 years.
Yeah.
That's great. What can people expect? You've done these summer art shows. For people who haven't been, is this your last one of the summer?
Yeah, we call them the summer art walks. I think this is our 3rd summer doing it. We've always went at other places, and I got to the point where I was like, well, we'll just do it, and then if other studios or art like places want to join, then they can join us. But I have a hard time with, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say local bureaucracy, but some of the city events and stuff, they have a lot of red tape. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, it's like, I can't wait for this to happen. Like, we got to eat, we got to pay rent, we got to do stuff, we got a cool space, and we need to do it like now. Like, well, I'm not waiting for anybody. So we just said, we'll just do it once a month, and only in the summer months when the weather's nice. So like May to like September. Okay. And what it is I insist that at least probably a dozen of the artists are here, but usually it's everyone. So 16 art spaces. So if you come, you can get a libation. There's music. We usually have a DJ, some kind of other performative arts. There's live artists making art. And all the artists, they have the studio. So all the lights are on, all the doors are open. And you can either do a self-guided tour where you get to go into the studio, the artist studio, and see them either making work or let them talk to you firsthand about their creative process.
That's nice. Well, and the space is kind of like a cool maze when you're in here too. So I can imagine that it would take, you could come here and really just spend the night here.
It's pretty fun. A lot of times I'd say on average, so when I was in Laguna, right on, I think it's Forest Avenue, and there was more tourists. It was the summer when I was there, but even locals, they pop their head in, they do a lap, and then they're out. Even at a reception, you might have a glass of champagne, they want to meet the artist, have a little side conversation, and then they're out. Here, you can catch people here for 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah. Because they'll be there, I thought you guys left. No, we were upstairs when doing that, and I met so-and-so, we know them. So like the community vibe, like, clicks in upon arrival.
Yeah.
So the artists are very friendly, and like we like to think we contribute. We take the veil off the high-end art industry and allow people to just be a little more vulnerable in their lack of knowledge about art and art making processes.
Yeah.
And just take the mystery out of it. Like, we're just people, we just make cool stuff, but we can chat about it. And we've done that for so many years now that our regular customers, we have now collectors and return clients that they just love it, can't wait to see what's next. And they always give us props on just being kind of a little more down to earth and not so high end where it makes you uncomfortable. I've seen a lot of people just at different art scenes just, oh, I'm not gonna do that. Or whatever they want to see, they want to ask the question and they just walk right on by. And I've done the LA Art Show and Beverly Hills Art Show, and I've been in different markets in San Francisco, and you can see that sometimes when it's the normal people just kind of get a little intimidated by that. But because we're local and we're local artists, we all live here, and a lot of us are from different parts of the country, we like embrace it because without the support of the community, we can't do what we do. Nobody's here to admire it or to help invest or just come by and say, good job.
So great. I feel like it's going to be really nice for people to be able to interact with the artists. And I think that you've built a culture here where the artists are willing to talk to the community, whereas maybe in some art spaces, they're shy or they don't want to talk. They just want to do the art.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is in some way a alternative art institution. And then I'm at least one of the professors here, but I will tell artists we're gonna get over that shyness real quick, because it only takes a matter of, introducing your space like 4 or 5 times before all of a sudden you got it down. And we'll help you, and like every artist here has seen me do the tour, we call it, where I can spin it regardless if I've never seen the art before or not. Like, this is cool because of these reasons, but come on in and check it out.
Yeah.
And then they kind of laugh, and I can be funny about it, but it's also a serious matter. Like these people are taking the time out of their day. There's a lot of cool stuff to do in Orange County. They didn't have to come here.
Yeah.
But when they do, I think you should put your best foot forward and really help them experience the local art. And after artists see me do that a couple 100 times, kind of get good at it too. So I got training like a proving ground for artists, and socially too. Sometimes what will seem like a party is actually like an art show, but they're indistinguishable. But also what's happening there is artwork is getting sold, or artists are getting introduced to new collectors or buyers.
Oh, yeah.
And also too, we've crossed over the border now where we have some high-end, affluent clients that are coming from different markets just to check it out, because it's a little different. It's not the same as other markets. So and the social media has helped with that, because it's safe to check us out online. I believe that's how you saw us.
Yeah.
To where like now it's described enough online to where you can like, you know what, we're gonna reach out and go check.
You can kind of do your window shopping online and decide if it's worth the drive, I
do the stats. I don't have the actual data, but when I see people come in, I'm a very visual memory. I can tell that they'll have a new look on their face. Like, is this the right place? Or, there's a lot of art, but there's a lot going on. And I'll run up to them, hey, have you been here before? I'm Jesse Fortune, and this is location 1980. How'd you hear about the show? And then it used to be like flyers, and then now last time the majority of answers was Instagram.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's definitely, and the people are cool. They're local. They're like, we live right here. Oh my God, I couldn't believe this is here. So it's nice to be able to use all of these. Shout out to Mark too, because like we're also in the local arts magazine.
Oh, nice.
So you'll get now a plethora of answers how people hear about this show. My girlfriend told me we saw it in local arts or maybe on social media. So
very cool. I love that. Anything else that stands out? Just had one in my head too. We talked a lot about
Can we pause this for a second?
Yes.
I know we're not live streaming.
Yeah.
We used to do a lot of pauses on ours, and then we stopped editing entirely almost.
That makes it easy.
Well, just because like we're talking to other artists, so it's usually the same storyline. It's like I'll just start art, and how did you get here? It's like a pretty natural arc.
Can I ask you about your upcoming Yosemite?
Did you guys talk about the therapy stuff that you do here at
We haven't yet.
Not yet. We haven't talked about any classes.
Oh my God.
Therapy?
See the what?
She taught the collage and stuff.
Oh, okay. She taught it, or she
was one of the therapists that did it.
I can't even remember when that happened. Really?
I was looking around like, oh, Sandra follows the studio. And then I was like, this is where she did her thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we get a lot of that. It's cool. That's what this space is about, you know.
You live in Long Beach, is that right? Okay, yeah. So.
Or like people have met and fall in love here, you know. And yeah, we've had several like.
It's gonna be a great date.
Yes, it really is. I tell my buddies they're single. I'm like, you're messing up, bro. Get the sushi or whatever, and then come by here. And actually, my friends they're getting their receptions this Friday. They had their second date here at our holiday sale.
Oh my gosh!
And he goes, man, I really like her. And this was a couple years ago. And I was like, dude, bring her by this place. And I guarantee, because at Christmas we have it decked out. There's trees and Santa and kids making ornaments. You know?
Ask you about
sure.
So Jesse, you mentioned that there's a big holiday party too. What does that entail?
Well, I'm very specific in the wording because we used to say art show, and I want it to be like, especially taking advantage of the holidays in Orange County. People are shopping and spending money. Like this might be the one time a year where you can just flat out ask for like, buy my art. So we call it the annual holiday art sale. And we use holiday to be non-secular, but we still have a tree, and sometimes this year we're definitely gonna have Santa. We have ornament making for the kids. So you can make an ornament, and our trees are, I guess we have so many ornaments over the years that we end up having to have 2 trees. Oh. But what it is we have all the studios open, and then we do like a straight crazy up marathon sale. So it's like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's usually more like, some customers that have come for years, they show up at 9 in the morning because they want to be the first to get the goods. Back in the day, we call it the $100 or less sale, and all the art was $100 or less. But during the pandemic, I was like, F that. If anybody's buying anything, we got to get top dish because we're going to die here. Like, we need money and food. And so now it's just a holiday art sale, but it is a fun event. Another reason we do it all day is because we want to catch the morning shoppers. And later at night, there's no kids, so then we turn the music up and it's a little more fun. Yeah. We've made 225 sales in one day before that. So it's really fun because people are having a good time. It's very holiday, and that's our biggest event of the year, and it's probably going to be the first Saturday in December.
It's a good time of year to do that because a lot of people are kind of a little bit more crafty, but of course they're also shopping. And yeah, if you can get a good deal.
It really is. And you get to meet the artists. A lot of times artists are blowing out some of their inventory. Maybe they made one too many of the same thing, or they've been tired of dragging this piece or this body of work around, so you might catch a good value that day. Yeah. I'm definitely guilty of it myself as far as offering up. On my birthday and the holiday sale, I always give a piece of art away. It's hidden. It's like a scavenger hunt, and it says free from Fortune. And then it'll take people like almost all day. I remember this one lady, she goes, "Is this artwork back there?" She's like, "Is it actually free?" I'm like, "You're the first one to ask." And she's like, "I can have it?" I'm like, "Yeah." Aww. And she just started crying. Yeah, it was great. I had a Santa hat on. I was working the front desk. I was doing full retail, and she was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "You're the first, you're the only one to ask all day." So it's pretty fun. It makes it fun to just give back to the community also. Yeah.
I was just appreciating the irony that your last name is Fortune and that you're like a starving artist, like embodiment, you know?
Yeah, I think that I'm like single-handedly, if I have to, change the perception of what that means, because I've never starved, so I wouldn't be here. Yeah. And also I've fed other artists, and I'm willing to work for it. So like it might be an old cliche that's ready to kind of evolve. And I've always embraced my last name. My name is Fortune, and I've always thought that it wasn't from wealth, it was just from experience. And now I've always felt like I live a life of a king. Consider most artists, like I've slept on couches, I've been homeless multiple times, I've lived in vehicles, I've did every favor. I mean, I've worked so many side jobs and stuff like that, but never once did I not feel fortunate. And in fact, the whole time I felt like I was pretty capable of not just getting by myself or exceeding at a high level, but also being to the point where I can help other artists do the same.
Yeah.
Other people in general that usually around me happen to be artists.
I love that mindset, and also just the fact that you are able to help others and give back. And tying it all together, how you called artwork work, it all kind of comes together.
Yeah, I came from in St. Louis, like it was very hardworking. We were humble, and my mom, she built cars for 32 years, and she was a female auto worker working amongst men, and not the friendliest environment for a woman to work in. And she pulled it off, and she had that ethic that kind of, I think, definitely transferred down to me. And it just happens to be now art, not building cars, but I have the same kind of like put your boots on and get after it. Especially artists get a little too hurt sometimes when something's not working or whatever. It's like, dude, there's no Superman in art. Like, you're the Superman. You got to turn it around. And sometimes just even having a side job. Like every time I had a side job, I wasn't mad about it, but I was trying to figure out my way how to get out of it. I was like, how can I apply these new skills like selling vitamins to selling art? When I was personal training, I was helping people like get fit and be healthy, and now I'm helping them improve their art collection.
It's really cool. Yeah, I think that the way that you're taking all of your skills and it ultimately drives you back to your passion says a lot, obviously.
Yeah, I appreciate it. There's a lot of times I quit. It is a tough business, and a lot of times you just take a break. Like this year, I just got a hip like 75 days ago, and because of that, I knew it was coming up for almost more than a year that I was making less art.
Yeah.
And like it was kind of driving me crazy, but I was like, it's necessary for the next like 50 years to make more art. So it was just like a little blip, but in that time what I did is I changed it and started doing more conceptual things and just like writing, and just like I can't physically do it, but like when I can, I'll be ready. I'll have pages of good ideas, and the team we have here right now with the social media and stuff, we're doing a lot of fun stuff. It's always something cool is always happening. So
yeah, just what you just said there about like kind of switching from the physical art to the conceptual art, what would you say is kind of has been your bread and butter art-wise? Like what is your best skill set, and then does that transfer over to other mediums for you?
It usually does. I love being here. My best skill set and my area of expertise is plein air painting. And you can see the painting here. And if you're just listening, I work large format plein air. So this is probably the smallest I want to work, and it's 3 foot by 3 foot. That was in Glacier National Park. So I've actually made paintings from Buenos Aires all the way to Berlin. So I also kind of specialize in the logistics of being able to show up in Amsterdam, find an art store, buy supplies on a very limited basis, because you literally carry everything with you. And then make the work and either try to sell it or give it away or barter it. And I've done that for 25 years. So one trip I went from Mexico to Vancouver, and I made 72 pieces of art in 90 days.
Gosh.
And I was also the driver and the chef and the social media manager. And I wrote stories about it on my website. You can see it at jessefortune.com. I wrote almost a daily blog about those little adventures. Recently, I haven't got to do too much plein air because of my physical aspect, but now I'm feeling better and I can't wait. And now that you bring it up, I have my next assignment, which really coincides. I do also commission work. So a lot of times one of my formats is like 2 foot by 6 foot panels, but I'll make 3 of them, so large triptych.
Yeah.
They could be hung either horizontally or staggered, depending on your vaulted ceiling or what you have going on. But I've done anything from abstract, or I'll work with my clients that they like fire and ice or water or whatever it is, but they know I do landscape, so we'll work together and I'll do small versions, scale down until we kind of hit the nail on the head. But because I've been successful at this for so many times, my referrals are pretty strong. And this new one I got just came out of the blue. I was so stoked, and they wanted to do Yosemite. And because I have been to Glacier and I've been to Yellowstone and Tetons and all over Colorado, New Mexico, but I've never been to Yellowstone or Yosemite, because every time I went it was either closed or there's a fire or something. So this time they went to Yosemite, and I said, well, I've never been, and they went camping like 2 weeks ago. They said, come with us and you can take pictures and you get inspired, and I couldn't go. But then my buddy called me, and October 5th, we're going 4 nights. He's got the campground. I'll bring my full kit. And what I make there might not be what they end up getting, because I'm doing those custom size and all that, but it will be like the most potent level of inspiration I can get, because I'll make probably a piece a day. So for like 4 days, I'll make at least 3 nice pieces of work.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you'll go there and you'll be taking in all the inspiration of the area and coming up with pieces, and then eventually either they'll have one of those, or they'll kind of steer you toward what to do.
Yeah. Well, I'll show them, and then, you know, I know he likes Half Dome and some forest things, and I have a concept too, but they might one of those. I mean, there's a good chance too, sometimes the painting doesn't leave the park. I mean, I like being in national parks because there's a lot of people, and if the right person sees the work, they're going to be like, could I buy that right now?
Yeah.
I've done that several times where I'm just like, that's the coolest thing ever. It's like being a rock musician.
Stop.
You just love it. And then all I have is a picture, but I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. So this time what I'll do is for me, it's more of like a training ground, because I haven't got to paint so much this summer because of the hip operation. But now that I'm feeling better, I'm gonna go there like with the blinders on.
Yeah.
So I'll camp in the tent, and when the sun rises, I'm going to go paint. Everybody else will be hiking and doing normal stuff, but I'll be grinding and just do like 6 hours on the painting or whatever. And we've done that with trips around here too, as our community. There's several. So you asked about how the plein air transfers into the other areas of work.
Yeah.
And that happens with construction. My business partner used to give the tour, and he'd be like, I'm not an artist. And I'd be like, man, you could kind of rephrase that a little better, because I'm like, stuff you build is super cool. Like, and I'm like, so just say like you're in the construction art.
This space very much gives art vibes, like, you know, with just the construction of it.
So I kind of learned from that too. It's like, I might be a plein air artist, but from all these other artists being around, like my homie Revel, who teaches the can control graffiti class.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, get down. Like right behind us is my first attempt. I did a 9-foot Patrick Mahomes back there. And he was so shocked. He's like, dude, you just went for it. I'm like, well, you coached me up, you know? He taught me how to do it. And then I was just like, so I think with plein air, you have to be kind of aggressive, at least my version. All the other artists have named my style. It's very specific. It's very distinct. So they kind of combined my name, Fortune, with like Impressionism, and just made Fortunism. So that's
brand of art.
I do, and I've been working on it for years. So I just try to apply that Fortunism to anything else I try. And usually it comes from this hard work. And a lot of times one of the funnier things we have a pumpkin carving contest and a scary movie night.
Yeah.
And I never went because I just can't, I don't know. I do something cool, but they do this real crazy, and it never really bugs me, but it doesn't stop me from like getting after it. I'm like, all right, this year is the year. I'm going.
Are you going this year?
Yeah, we're having it here. We're hosting it. Yeah.
Definitely want to share that. That's cool too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, so like, and then recently we've got more and more with the classroom. So now we have outside artists that can come here and teach a class for 3 hours and then go back to their house. Or Priyanka teaches the ancient art of Lipan, Indian art.
Oh, yeah.
So I've tried a lot of these different ones, especially abstract stuff, because usually I'm like good at painting what I see. But
yeah.
I'll let it go. Napa and Natasha Patel, she taught a really cool class where you meditate for 20 minutes, a guided meditation. We had pillows all around the tables.
Cool.
And then after the meditation, she told the whole story, like you're on your back, you're floating through the ocean and all this, and you're like zoned out, and then the chime rings and you jump up and you just start making fluid art. So it's super abstract. You have to let go and just do it. Yeah. So I think that by doing so many plein air, also when you're doing plein air art, you're very productive. You can make a painting or two every day, depending on the size. And they might not all be Mona Lisa, but you get conditioned to like putting your boots on, putting your hat on, put your sunscreen, get the paint right, your kit dialed in this work. Yeah. People are stopping you, but I've got pretty good at that too, where I'll turn around and pitch somebody. I'll be like, here's the Instagram right here. Yeah. And I'm going back to work.
You get in the zone, you're focused. Yeah, I guess you'd have to be, or you never get it done. Anyway, we are so excited for the events that you have coming up. Cool. And I think it's so great that you have a space like this in the community. Like you said, it's definitely the most diverse that we have in Costa Mesa. It probably is for all of Orange County, honestly.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, Holly, and saying that, because we really do feel like we are the hidden gem in Orange County. Like, you will not be disappointed if you come here. If you like art, creative things, and take the time, take an hour, make an appointment, walk through, you'll be delightfully pleased.
Nice. Where can people find you guys? Website and online?
Our website is Location 1980 Art Gallery, and then the Instagram and Facebook are this location.
Jesse, thank you so much. I learned a lot, and this space, I'm so glad that I didn't just drive by this time. It's great.
Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it. It was a good time.